Hi, thanks for coming on. Andy speaking, Friday 11th of March. Just coming up 6 p.m. Looking ahead to games in Scotland at the weekend and in the National League. And we'll have a quick look at last week's results in Scotland. Very good weekend for us last weekend. Good way to start the month. Apart from the main bet. I'm not going to say the main bet, but the bet with the strongest stake let us down. 4-4 to beat Elgin was a 2-point win bet. But Partick done the business. Kilmarnock, Edinburgh and Stenhouse. I mean, we done well in League 2. We had 2 winners from 3, which was pleasing. So 3 points. It's a good way to start the month. There's the end of February. 8.72, tailed off a bit towards the end, didn't it? From there, we were 13.3 quarters up after the fifth, well, the sort of second betting day of February. And March we've started well, so fingers crossed that can continue. Right, let's have a look at the weekend. Start with the Premiership. Aberdeen Hibs 45-22-33. Real tight game to call. I couldn't back any of these two sides. I don't sort of see any of them as betting material. Mid-table, flaky, average sides, I have to say. Couldn't back any of these with your money. There's 0.05 in Aberdeen, there's half a point in Hibs. On figures, Aberdeen should win. As I say, it's not a game that I would have any interest in whatsoever. Celtic Ross 75-20-5. This is pretty much as clear cut as it gets in terms of figures. I generally 75 is around the sort of highest figure you'll get from me. Unless I'm pricing up, sometimes a cup game, but I don't really bet in cup matches, but I do price them up. But yeah, 3s on Celtic should be their 6s. It's not a bet to have, is it? Ross, I've got in at 19-1. They're 18s. It's just not a game to get involved with. Celtic ought to win. I'd expect them to win easily, to be honest. Hearts Livingston 53-23-24. 10-11 I'll make Hearts. They're 4-5. That's a little bit short, I thought. I think they should warrant being odds on, but whether they should be that short, I disagree. There's half a point in Livy. We've got them in at 16-5. They're 15-4. I think that's pretty good. It's just a question of whether you see 0.55 at 24%. I know my thoughts on it. It's a question of whether you think that it's a value bet. But again, like I always say, 76% of the time this bet's not going to win. But they will prove a profit in the long run. St Johnstone Motherwell 33-24 43. Tough game to call. St Johnstone are favourites. I don't see it. I can see why. I'm not going to say it's not the right way to say it. I can see how they've been put in as favourites, because people say Motherwell have precious little to play for, they're out of form, etc., which I quite agree. But I think they're the better of these two sides. I'm not saying they're going to win, but on my figures I've got them at 43%, which equates to 13-10, so 21-10 is value. 0.8 at 43 is good value, isn't it? It's there's no getting away from it. It's a good value bet on Motherwell. It's a question of whether you see that it's a potential bet or not. On my figures, it is, and I would always be happy to make bets 43% with 0.8 of a point in it. St Mirren Dundee United 48-23-29. 11-10. I put St Mirren in that, which is what I think they should be. They're 11-8. I don't rate Dundee United at all. St Mirren are proving to be a decent, football team this season. Much better than where I sort of expected them to be around the bottom 3. And they've kicked on a bit, but it's no give me, is it 48%? But they should be winning this game on figures, and you get an 11-8 for an 11-10 shot, which again to me, it smacks of a value bet. Dundee Rangers, nothing of interest in this game, is there? 9.22.69. 4-9 Rangers, their 3's on. Doesn't interest me. There's nothing in Dundee. It's just a game, isn't it, where, you know, if you're on Rangers for the outright or something like that, you know, but I 3's on. You couldn't back 3's on away from home. It's just something I couldn't do. So, strongest bet there on figures. Obviously, Celtic and Rangers are the top rated, but best rating there with value in the price is St Mirren. There's plenty in Motherwell. There's Livingston. There's a bit how you see it, really, guys. Championship, not the best coupon this week. Sorry, I think the Championship coupon was okay. It was League One, wasn't it, where I didn't think there was a lot. Ayr Kilmarnock 32.23.45. There's 0.4 in Ayr. They're not rated to win. 0.4 at 32%. It's probably not quite enough for me to warrant getting involved. Kilmarnock are a side I wouldn't want to back against. I've been with them really over the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks, haven't we, since McInnes got the job. They're rated to win this game, but there's just no value in it. That's obviously why we've got no interest, and are overpriced at 5-2. But as I say, 0.4 at 32. It's difficult, isn't it, when you've got 0.4 at 39 here and things like that, and 0.4 at 37 there. So, it's probably, the least interesting bet in the out of those 3 anyway. Hamilton Dunfermline 45.24.31. 0.3 in Dunfermline. It's not enough, is it, on a week like this? I mean, there's times when you can be forced to back something like this, and particularly if you're playing in the national leagues or other leagues. But in Scotland, I don't really, don't need to be taking this. Hamilton 45%. They're rated to win. Whether they do, it's a tough one, isn't it? But not really a game of interest for us. Excuse me. Inverness Arbroath 38.23.39. I've been saying for weeks, fed up with Inverness. Don't rate them. Arbroath, there's 0.4 in it at 39. It's a tough one because I think, I'm not going to say the wheels are coming off at Arbroath. That's not the right thing to say, is it? But I don't expect them to win the league. Who I think is going to win the league, and we've backed them accordingly, and I think they will go on to win the league. But I still think that Arbroath are capable of scrapping it out to the end. There's 0.4 here at 39%. That's, that interests me. It's a question of whether it interests you or whether you think Inverness are going to bounce back to form. Morton Partick 36.23.41. A quarter of a point in Morton. Don't need to play in this game, really. Partick are rated to win, but there's nothing in the prices there. They should be 7-5 minimum. They're 13-10. Bookmakers taking no chances. It's a game which you can make a case for Morton. They've looked decent recently, haven't they? But you don't, again, like the Dunfermline bet, we don't really need to be playing bets like this. Unless bets are thin on the ground. There's 5 bets this week, and we don't need to be involved in those. Queen of the South Wraith 37.23.40. There's 0.4 in Queen of the South. That figure that I've given Queen of the South has probably been inflated due to Wraith's poor form. I think the David Goodwillie incident has completely destabilised things there. They got a thumping last week, didn't they, by Ayr? It's a question of whether you trust Queen of the South. 0.4 at 37% is okay. I'm quite happy to bet teams, at that figure with almost half a point in it. But it's a question of whether you trust them or not. They've cost me too much over the years, Queen of the South, to for me to really sort of nail my colours to the mast and say, oh yeah, go and back them. All I say is 0.4 at 37% is perfectly acceptable, and that's all I can say. I can't really steer people towards, because when I do steer people towards a bet and it doesn't win, they moan and things like that. So, but 0.4 at 37 is acceptable. Moving on, Scottish League One, poor coupon this week. I have to say there's one standout game in this division, and that's at the bottom. We'll come to that. Start with Cove against Clyde, 62-24-14. Cove 100 to 30 on. I think that's far too short. I say they're not going to win, and when I say the team is far too short, it doesn't mean to say they're not going to win. It doesn't interest me, whether I think a team's going to win or not, because it's all about how much is in the price. With betting, you need to spend more time looking for the prices and less time looking for the winners. That's the secret. Do I think Cove will win? Yes. Would I back them at 100 to 30 on? Absolutely not. They should be 8 to 13. There's no value at all in that. There's 3 points in Clyde, 3 points at 14%. It's tough, isn't it? Because it's probably okay, but 86% of the time, this bet's going to lose, and it really is that simple. For every 100 bets you have, 86 of them aren't going to win, and to make profits from bets like this, you've got to withstand long losing runs, or you've got to back them against things that are regularly winning. And by that I mean sort of things that win about 50% of the time, and you're getting some value in it, just a smidge of value. And when things like this do come off, it really does help boost your profits. But as I say, for every 1,000 bets, 860 of them are going to lose, and that is the reality of it. But Clyde are value, but Cove should win. East Fife Dumbarton, 45-23-32. I was hoping to back East Fife this week. I have to say, when I looked at this, I'd done my figures. I thought, I'm happy with that, 45%. I was hoping we were going to get something like 11 to 8, maybe even a bit of 6 to 4. But we're getting 5 to 4. There's 0.05 at 45%. It's not enough. It really isn't. As I say, I was hoping that it one that might have slipped under the radar, but it hadn't. They're 6 points from safety, East Fife. They win tomorrow, they're 3 points from safety, and could be all to play for after tomorrow. But they'll be at it. Both of these sides, rest assured. Both of these have got a lot to play. Well, they got their League One status to preserve. But I did fancy East Fife, but as I say, the price was too short. Although there's a bit in it, it's not enough. Falkirk Airdrie, 37-24-39. Tough game to call. It really is a tough one to call. Bookmakers have got Falkirk in as favourites. I don't think that's right. Airdrie, I know, can be tricky on the road. They don't win enough away from home. But they will be bang at this tomorrow. They're still in with a chance of catching Cove. I'm not saying they're going to. Because it looks a penalty kick for Cove tomorrow, doesn't it? But Airdrie will be bang at it tomorrow, and Falkirk, we know how flaky they can be. But there's nothing in the bet with Airdrie. There is a tiny bit, but it's so minuscule. It's not worth putting up. It's a tough game, but fingers crossed Airdrie win, because we are on them, and Alloa in the outrights. Alloa aren't going to do anything, we know, but Airdrie still can, and they are a very sexy price. Petehead Montrose, 30-23-47. Nothing in this game. Montrose should win. 47%, they should win. They're 11 to 10. That's what price they are. There's nothing in the game. They should win. The only thing I'll say is that they're in that place now where I don't like to to bet teams, and by that I mean they're pretty much assured a playoff place. They're not going to win the league, and as I say, teams do go into cruise mode. And I think that if you look at the teams in and around those positions in the league tables, not just in Scotland, but anywhere, you know, once they can't win it and they're sort of assured of a playoff place, results become patchy. And I think Forfar are indicative of that. I think if you look at Forfar's recent results, the amount of times they've been turned over at a short price, not necessarily turned over, but haven't won at a short price. And you know, that's the only thing that will put me off with this. Well, not only put me off because there's nothing in the price, but I mean, even, you know, there'd have to be more than usual in that for me to want to bet it. That's what I'm saying. You know, I know how much I want to see in a price when something's rated 47%, but I would want to see a little bit more than I usually would at the moment, because I just feel that cruise mode kicks in with these sides, and it just might happen. It might be happening with Montrose as it is with Forfar. Queen's Park Alloa 42, 22, 36. Where in God's name they find a Queen's Park odds on is absolutely beyond me. No way in this world should Queen's Park be odds on. I'm not going to start banding figures about, but they've won 6 from 13 at home. You know, that's under 50% of their games. Now, they're playing an Alloa side which we know is capable of turning up. Ferguson's gone, new man's in charge. I'm not saying Alloa are going to win this game, not in the slightest, but the point I'm trying to get across here is that Queen's Park at 42% should be 11 to 8. They're trading at 3 to 4. If you go taking 3 to 4, about 42%, you can't win in the long run in this game. It's impossible, because you're gonna win 42% of the time at 3 to 4. You're gonna gradually go broke. As you know, you don't need me to tell you that. And there is absolutely no way that Queen's Park warrant being odds on for this game of football. Absolutely not a cat in hell's chance. For a team that's won 6 games from 13, impotent up to a point in front, a goal. We know this side can turn over anybody on their day, and there's 1.58 in it at 36%. That's absolutely cracking value. I'm not saying they're going to win or anything like that, but this, you have to back this. If you're getting 100 to 30, about 7 to 4 shots, I mean, that's magic. If somebody said to me 36% of your bet to win at 100 to 30, I could sit with my feet up, because I know come rain, sleet or shine, I'm going to make a profit every single day, but every single month or whatever. I know I'm going to be in front at the end of the day. This is the road to the poorhouse. This might win tomorrow. It's rated to win. It's 42% chance. You know, if they won, it doesn't surprise me. And as I say, on figures, they should win. But this 1.58 in it, you have to back it. League 2 was good to us last week, wasn't it? Fingers crossed it can be again. Annan Elgin 55, 23, 22. Now, here we got a side that should be odds on, that isn't. Annan. Queen's Park odds on, just ridiculous. Annan should be odds on. They should be 4 to 5. They're trading at 5 to 4. There's 0.45 in it. It's whether you see it as a value bet, whether you think Elgin can turn up and spoil the party. But I know what I think. Forfar Sterling 50, 24, 26. Again, another team which is putting it odds on that shouldn't be. As I say, Forfar, I backed them last week. I'm going to say they caught me out last week. You know, I go where the value is and what my figures tell me. And last week they were worth a bet. This week they're not. They shouldn't be odds on for this game. But they're rated to win. There's 0.2 in Sterling. That doesn't interest me at all. Sterling aren't a team to be backing. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Forfar, I wouldn't trust either. You know, for me to back Forfar, I'd want sort of 11 to 10, 5 to 4. Kelty Albion 71, 20, 9. 4's on Kelty, there's nothing in there. There's a point in Albion, but 91% of the time your bets are going to lose. You can't back that, can you? It's a game to avoid unless you're going to go with a Kelty half-time and full-time, and I've not even looked at that, to be honest, this week, because I felt there was enough going on aside from that. But if you wanted to look at that, don't let me put you off. And I think we backed Kelty half-time against full-time Albion earlier in this season. But as I say, I felt there was enough going on this weekend without having the need to get involved there. Stenhousemuir, Edinburgh, 44-23, 33. Again, Stenny should not be odds on. I disagree. And there's 0.6 in Edinburgh. They should be 2-1. They're 13-5. Is it enough? I know what I think. It's a question of whether you think that's enough. I quite think it's okay. And when you look at Stenny's home record and you look at Edinburgh's away record, this looks tempting. But don't let me steer you towards it. It's a question of what you think, because as I say, Stenny are rated to win the game, but the value's with Edinburgh. Stranraer Cowderbeath, 50-23-27. I've got no interest in this game. Cowderbeath are fighting. Stranraer are unreliable, but they're rated to win. They should be up to beating Cowderbeath, but Beath are fighting. Make no mistake about that. Right, finally on to games then in the National League. There's 4 games here for us to have some involvement. And you see when you look at the value, again, as I always say, in Scotland it's far superior to any other league, isn't it? You're getting some okay value here, 0.2, 0.25, 0.65, 0.11. But as I say, this is better than English football, the main 4 divisions in England, but compare it to Scotland, it's a world apart, isn't it? Yeovil Grimsby, 29-23, 48. They've hit a bit of form lately, Grimsby. I think they should be 11-10 for this game. They're 13-10, there's 0.2 in it. 0.2 at 48% in the National League is worth playing. Yeovil are unreliable as well. Boreham Wood Chesterfield, 50-23, 27. I think Boreham Wood should be evens, they're 5-4. Chesterfield, again, I'm not going to say they've given up with the league, but it's not going to happen. I think Stockport or Wrexham will go on to claim the title, and it's probably going to be Stockport. When I speak about teams going into that cruise mode, they might just do it. I'm not saying they will or anything like that. They could easily come and win this tomorrow. But I just think that Boreham Wood will be at it. And I just think Chesterfield have just lost that edge recently. I just think Boreham Wood, there's 1/4 point in it, they must be backed. National League North, Bradford, Park Avenue, Curzon, 36-24, 40. Really, really good price about Bradford PA, 12-5. They should be 7-4. There's 0.65 in it. It's probably the best. Let's say it's the strongest bet in the National League because St Albans is on figures, but there's 0.65 in it. They're decent at home, Bradford. Curzon have been pretty poor, I have to say, on the road. No way are they 23-20 shots. That's a bit of an insult, isn't it? But Curzon are rated to win, but the values with Bradford. I'm on Bradford. Finally, National League South, St Albans Concord, 58-23, 19. St Albans, I think, should be an 8-11. They're 5-6. It's 0.11 in it. It's not the best, but I think 0.11 at 58%. 58% of your bets win, and you're getting 1/10 of a point extra every time you play. You've got to do it, haven't you? So that's it. Strongest bet in the National Leagues is obviously St Albans at the figures. Scotland, I think Cove will win, but there's no value in it. But there are, as I say, I think we had a decent weekend in Scotland last weekend, and there's certainly some decent value about this weekend. But there's only 5 bets, not 6, and fingers crossed. there could be something of interest midweek. If there's enough, I'll do a video. If not, I'll just put something up on Twitter. But that's it for now. Fingers crossed, and have a good weekend. Bye for now.